I'm not a tree hugger, but squirrels are cute.
He knew the route I was taking. He knew where I'd be on the freeway. He knew that I was running late for work, and he cut me off.
You said, will you please write me a handwritten letter back thanking me? Guess what? I definitely wouldn't have done it then. You know how many states constitutional carry is approved in?
A lot.
All 50 states. Did you know that?
Yeah.
It's approved in all 50 states.
You want to know why?
Through the art of?
The Second Amendment.
Not being a bitch.
Also that.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the 2A Procast.
2A Procast.
This week's 2A Procast.
Make sure everything's good.
She's Nolan's leaving. I guess it's just me today on the 2A Procast.
It's just Jake.
This week's 2A Procast is fantastic. There's just so many little nuggets of information, things that we're going to discuss. And John Johnson, if you're out there, hang around because we want to thank you.
He's probably not, but
okay. He's probably not listening anymore based on the message that he sent us, but we'll read a little part of it, and it's interesting. If you would like the most exciting update that the world has ever heard, it's the thing that we've been talking about for a really long time was the opportunity for you to get in and build a business inside the Second Amendment, and just every American owning a company somewhere around the Second Amendment would change the whole game. But obviously everybody couldn't just make guns because then we wouldn't have food. But
yes.
The point that I'm getting at is the 2A Pro course has officially been launched. It is only 30 to 40% done. There's like 75, 80 modules in there right now at the time of this filming. We already have some students in there. We have already delivered a few websites fully built for these cats.
But again, I want to add to that.
I have walked a few of these cats through the process already of starting the business, and there's a couple guys with a couple really good ideas, and I know they're going to be successful. And our entire team at Tacticon is in the community. It's not a course where I'm like, hey.
It's a guide.
Hey, like, here's how you do this, here's how you do that. No, it's a blueprint via video that you can watch, but then the most valuable part of it is the community that we actually have. I've leveraged the whole team here at Tacticon. We all jumped on board. There's an expert in every category. You, social media and video editing and videography.
Suck.
We got Caleb doing graphic design. We've got our engineer for, manufacturing and production. We've got our holster,
product sourcing, SEO,
in there. Yeah, all of it, man. Like if you think about a thing,
we probably got it.
Yeah, pay-per-click marketing, pay-per-click advertising,
herpes,
search engine optimization.
gonorrhea.
Yes, yeah.
Syphilis.
Yeah. We show you how to get over
probably got it.
Full-blown AIDS. Yeah, we've got that too. So
it really is.
Anyway, and I am not, this is not a scare tactic. This is not a get in now because the price is going up. It's literally like the lowest price that it will ever be right now. And I'm only actually taking in a few people at a time. And then I'm going to shut the payment processor off because it does take some time to navigate each individual person through the process of at least starting and deliver these websites for you, which is all included in it. And because of that, I don't want people to be like, I don't want there to be 10,000 people in there and me not be able to communicate with them directly and do the damn thing. So
because it's less of a course, it's more of a guide. It's a little walkthrough.
And it's like all the courses out there right now, let me tell you something. They all show you like, here's how to start a business. Nobody shows you how to
run a business,
how to run it and growth. And I want to be here in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the road with you when you hit roadblocks and be able to get you to overcome those based on our experience. That is the whole goal, is just to do it with you. And that is, there actually are two plans. So if you're on mobile, you have to scroll past the first plan to see the second plan. The second plan is more of a done with you approach. It's more one-on-one, more individual Zoom calls, things of that nature, and leveraging certain assets that we have, like our email list to launch your products. And then the other one is just the basic bitch course for whatever price you happen to see it at. So anyway, that is it. That is my spiel. The link to sign up will be down in the description. It is finally here, and I am finally queer.
You're welcome.
And we are ready for the podcast.
Hi.
What do you want to talk about first? Because we have so many interesting.
Well, first,
do we want to address
I think
Johnson?
we
jump into Johnson?
We jump right into JJ.
JJ.
John Johnson.
If you're out there, let me give you a little backstory on John Johnson.
He was an individual who bought things from us and had a problem.
Yeah, he was a guy who had an issue with some stuff called customer service, and while he was absolutely irate and unhappy, as he should have been, given his displeasure with the experience that he had, customer service, namely Darla, turned the entire experience around. He was so happy that he actually sent gifts to us. There was whiskey and
there was a couple bottles of whiskeys. He sent us the Book of Five Rings.
That's right.
Two copies of
He
Five
sent
Rings.
us
some pipe tobacco.
That's right.
I think he sent us cigars.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly.
That's right. And you were puffing on that. It was cherry, wasn't it?
It was cherry.
Cherry.
Yeah.
So,
we were
John
filming
Johnson,
a podcast.
I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for going well out of your way and above and beyond.
A legitimate. Thank you.
Seriously. And that's the good news. But here's the bad news.
I would like to remind you, because I'm going to be your father today, for all of you out there. We're going to start off with some good dad advice. And it's something your dad should have probably taught you too. If you're going to give gifts, give them out of the kindness of your heart,
the love of your fellow man,
without expecting anything in return. It's like if you give that bum on the street $5
and he grabs it
and walks away, and you did it just for that thank you, you're not giving a gift for the right reasons.
So
you're giving a gift because you want the satisfaction of somebody thanking you.
And I'm going to put it all on the table here, and I'm not going to mince words. I appreciate what you did for us. I appreciate you sending that. We enjoyed the things that were in that package. We did distribute it amongst the employees,
yes,
myself included. I distributed it because while I appreciate the whiskey, I don't drink. I'm sober, and so I'm not going to drink it, but I will most certainly give it to people who would appreciate that. It is in, I think one of the bottles is even in our gun shop for other customers to enjoy.
Yeah.
For the 2 Alpha shop, because we give away, drinks and cigars and stuff. So look, man, not going to mince words. The reply that we got from this individual was unwarranted, completely fucking inappropriate. And he went on, I could read the entire thing. It's fairly lengthy. He went on to give us his resume and the things that he's done for the Second Amendment, including the Heller case, and I appreciate you for that. I'm not sure what that has anything to do with me not sending you a proper thank you. I will apologize for this. We did mention him in a Procast. So
the first
Nolan and
10 minutes of a
and
Procast.
We're going to try to find it and put it up here if we haven't already deleted the footage. But right in the beginning of the two-way Procast, so his letter, let me back up. His letter to us said, I can't believe you didn't mention us in the Procast. I can't believe you didn't thank me in any of your podcasts. You didn't. All you did was take a picture with the products and then send me an email back thanking me. Okay, so we did thank you. But the problem is he said, what a bullshit thank you that was. What a bullshit thank you that you and Nolan holding the products and then sending me an email back thanking me for those things that he got us. What? First of all, I don't know what you wanted. Did you want me to write a letter to you, which he says, I wish I would have had a handwritten letter. Okay, man. Like, there's nothing that I can do about, I can't read your fucking mind. And if you said, will you please write me a handwritten letter back thanking me? Guess what? I definitely wouldn't have done it then. So I thanked you in our podcast. And the problem is that podcast was going not well because I was having a shitty day. And
Both of us were kind of off.
We were off that day, and we were like, you know what? We're not going to release this. And we just forgot to thank you again on the next released podcast.
Because we filmed a week later.
Yeah.
And business happens.
Oh, and we're human, by the way.
That too.
Okay, so on top of all that, he goes in to threaten us and say, I have lines and ties into the entire MARSOC community, all the MARSOC guys, all the Marine Raiders,
Sear,
18 X-Ray,
Buds.
which is 18 X-Ray, which are the guys going in for SFAS, Special Forces Selection. Okay, you've got ties to the entire community, and he said, I'm going to run your name through the mud. Nobody's ever going to buy anything from you again. I will tell you this, and I will look at you while I say this, so look at me if you are listening. I don't serve the fucking government, so tell the government anything you want to. I provide citizens with Second Amendment gear, and if special operations guys don't want to buy it, I don't give a fuck. Period.
Also,
I have nothing against them, but we did not build this business to feed the government contracts.
No.
So we built it to give it to the American people. And so, yeah, go tell all the fucking special forces guys you want, man. Like it doesn't, there's no sweat off my sack.
Dude, and if you buy a gift for someone and you don't get the thank you that you wanted, and then you go and say, well, now I'm going to talk bad about you to everyone I know.
Yeah.
Grow the fuck up, dude.
Dude, you're talking about going and...
Have you not heard anything we've said in any of these podcasts?
You're going to go rake our name through the fucking coals because I didn't give you the...
Go for it, asshole.
The proper thank you?
Go for it.
Because you didn't like the thank you we get. Fuck you, dude. That's what I have to say. All right. Anyway...
What would your mother have to say? Have you told your mother that you gave a gift expecting a thank you and not out of the goodness of your heart?
Hold on a
second. Do
second.
you kiss your mother with that mouth?
Check this out. Now, if you guys don't want to listen to this, just fast forward through it. You don't have to listen to this, but I'm going to fucking read it because if anybody's going to send something like this, then it's going to go on the fucking internet. Right. Is this the one right here?
Yeah, that's the whole shebang.
All right. I'm going to skip some of the bullshit where
I would just read that last portion.
He said, I was going into a town. It was a long trip. He was basically saying how how much work he had to do to procure the products, which I appreciate.
Which we are thankful for.
Yeah, I am very thankful for it. Believe me, I was stunned. Like I couldn't believe somebody would go out of their way to send us a package like that.
It's very cool.
I thought it was absolutely amazing. So then he said, I deeply regret even sending anything to Jake and Nolan now. I do hope that those gifts were shared with the staff. The small thank you they sent was basically bullshit, and I could have overlooked that slight had they just sent a thank you note. They did not. I will not buy a fucking thing from Tacticon ever again. I will also make sure the rest of MARSOC, 18 X-Ray, and Bud's community know how much disrespect I was shown by Jake and Nolan, and their kissy face photos are piss off. Okay, so speaking English here, clearly. My generation does not respect this kind of thank you. I don't know how fucking old you are, but you're clearly immature if you're listening to this podcast. So,
you should be able to take it better, to be honest with you.
Just like we are.
Yeah.
No, and that is no disrespect and full disrespect at the same time to everybody listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
Because if we are all in this room together, then we are all miscreants.
You're just as dumb as I am.
Yeah, you're just as dumb as we are. So then he says, so my generation does not respect this kind of thank you. God, that was such fucking bullshit and disrespectful. If they had simply publicly said thank you, that would have been enough. My mother personally worked with Larry Pratt of Gun Owners of America.
Cool.
Okay, man. Like, I appreciate what your mom did for the GOA. It had nothing to do. I didn't thank you properly. I did not thank you properly because I
actually looked into your mother, and the fact that she worked with Larry Pratt from the GOA is why we didn't do it.
Fuck, man. We work every day as a family to secure people's Second Amendment rights. Personally, I was part of the team that worked with Heller on Heller versus DC. Sweet.
Sick.
Thanks, man. That's not why we didn't send you a handwritten thank you note or forgot to mention you in our second podcast that we redid. I've done my fair share to support those rights. I count that Supreme Court victory as something. And then there's just so much resume here. I'm going to skip over all this. However, I feel deeply slighted. Tomorrow, there will be a meeting with the Seer Robin Sage folks. I will share my experience with Tacticon. I hate to break it to you, man, but the Seer guys, the SF guys,
they don't care.
They don't care, and they typically don't buy from Tacticon.
They also don't care that you sent a gift to someone and you didn't get what you felt was an appropriate thank you.
That's right. When these guys are when these guys are about to go do the shit that they go do, the last thing that they give a fuck about is that you sent some whiskey to a couple of guys that didn't give you the thank you felt like you should deserve. I would love to be a fly on the wall to hear that happening inside of a group of dudes that are some of the most badass motherfuckers in our country that do some high speed, low drag shit that don't complain about a goddamn thing and then listen to you complain about the thank you got.
Hey, I'm about to go behind enemy lines and ruck for days on end. Do you want to hear, hey, do you want to hear about these guys that I sent something to and I didn't get a proper thank you that I felt like I should get?
No, man. I really don't give a fuck. Yeah.
No. My feet are going to be blistered. I don't care.
I could have overlooked all this if they would have simply sent a note. Goddamn, Tacticon is a fucking train wreck that thinks it is doing the right thing. Your company and its CEO has no idea. Well, joke's on you, man, because I'm not technically a CEO. I don't identify as one, so I don't know who you're talking about. Please delete my account from Tacticon. That's not a thing, dude. I don't know. You can hit the unsubscribe button if you want to, though. I don't know what deleting an account means. I will not order anything else from your company. I deeply fucking regret the hard-earned money I spent to personally pick out gifts for you guys. I sat through the rest of the two-way Procast, hoping there was one thread of thank you there. There is one here. Thank you. And there was not. We sent you guys our best. You guys gave us shit with no real thank you. Cheers, which I hate it when people end their letters with that.
I'm
John,
sorry. I do that.
P.S. I know, but your brother, Bryce,
He hates it.
he hates it, and then he made me hate it
Yeah.
because every time I see it, I'm like, yeah, you're right, man. That for some reason that irritates me. P.S. I checked the phone number you said was not working. It is, so I'm sure.
That's
why you
just
guys
customer service stuff.
Okay, cool. All right. Anyway, that's enough about that, man. You know, we thank you for your gifts. I do appreciate that, and I really appreciate you spending all of that time providing content to our listeners. Okay, what is the next thing we're going to be going over? I want you to sit in here and get drunk on that bottle of whiskey that he sent.
Oh, God.
Next podcast.
It's
That'd be great.
moonshine.
Oh, was he the sender of the moonshine?
It was moonshine.
Oh, shit.
I'll do it, but
Dude.
I don't want to.
You don't want to die?
I'll do it.
You know what?
I
I would have you do a full bottle of moonshine on the two-way Procast, but the last thing that I want is have to call
Carly?
911. No, just call 911 because you drank yourself into oblivion, and then have
Do you know
911
who my brothers are?
and have 911 not be able to come out here and take you to the hospital because
because
911
the fucking 911 grid went down for 2 hours in 4 different states?
Hey.
Is that what we're about to talk about?
Oh, is that a test cycle, would you think? Maybe just hey, let's just test these general areas. You know what the
Okay.
excuse was behind that? They were putting up a light pole.
Okay, so I would like to.
They were installing a light pole and it affected, or a power pole. Power pole, I think, is what it was.
I'm a theorist, right? I like to theorize about things. I'm not going to call it a conspiracy theorist because I don't like the CIA. I'm a theorist. I like to theorize, just like a fucking scientist.
Hypothesize is what he's going for. Yeah.
I like to think of different reasons why this might happen. Like you said, maybe it was a test. Who knows? But if their reasoning is that they were putting in a light pole and this took down 4 states' 911 grid, that shows how delicate our infrastructure is, and that should terrify you more. The test?
I think it might have been a power pole. Again, I don't know.
Dude,
Go ahead.
if it was a legitimate test, scary. If it was taken out because they were trying to put in a power pole, that's worse.
That's scarier. Yeah.
That means they can take down one little point of the grid, right? They can take down one, power station?
Yeah.
Which it would be illegal for me to tell you, so I'm not telling you that a power station can be taken down by shooting a relay with a single 5.56.
Don't tell them that.
I wouldn't ever tell you that because that's illegal.
Yeah.
I don't even think that's illegal, but I'm covering my own ass. So if that's the case, that's horrifying. So let's expound on this.
First of all, what do you guys think happened?
Just call 911.
I want to know.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
And I'm not saying that for hey, feed the comments for the algorithm. I want to see what people who are connected to different agencies and living in different states. Genuinely, I want to know how you feel about this. I will be in those comments lurking with eye contact and over the pants handies all at the same time. Okay, but carry on.
My wayward son.
Yes.
No, but the rhetoric has consistently been on the anti-2A argument that you don't need a gun because we have cops. You can call 911. You don't need a firearm to defend yourself. Just call the cops.
Right. That is what they say.
But you can't call the cops if 911
if you can't call the cops
goes down for 2 fucking hours. Do you know how fast you can kill someone?
What I really want to know is what kind of data is going to come out about the lives lost due to not being able to actually seek EMS.
Well, no, what's going to happen is they're going to do an internal investigation and then they're going to not come up with anything.
Yeah, naturally.
Because internal investigations are absolute bullshit.
Yep. So can we FISA that out of them, or?
Yeah, we'll FISA that out.
Fuck.
Well, I mean, the FBI has used it over 278,000 times in the wrong manner.
Jesus, dude. When are we going to stop allowing three-letter agencies to fucking dictate the laws in this country and actually just enforce things? They don't make laws, and they continuously break them.
Well, when are we going to stop giving other human beings power over other human beings?
Our fundamental rights?
Yeah.
Which,
when are we going to kind of stop going, hey, I need a dad now that I'm an adult?
check this out. So this feeds right into a podcast that a podcast question rather that somebody asked in our Discord, I believe it is. Yep. And if you're not in that Discord, get balls deep in that son bitch. There's a link in the description of this vid kit.
Those are my favorite people in there.
So yeah, they are. They're pretty amazing. They give us podcast questions. So yes, you'll find 2 links in the description.
I love you, Whiskey.
Shameless plug, the 2A Pro course link, and then the discord.gg/2A Pro to get in there and ask your podcast questions. Sandalorian and Jake Dines, when should/could citizens use the Second Amendment to defend themselves from tyrannical government? Right? Ties right in. When should they and could they? For example, California continually imposes taxes, restricts rights, and makes laws forcing people and businesses to comply with or pay for things they did not want and did not ask for. When is it okay for people to use their Second Amendment rights to fight back? This can be expanded on a national level too. Can the Second Amendment be utilized to fight back without having to actually fire a shot? Fucking good question. Is it considered criminal if citizens force politicians to resign at gunpoint because the politicians have failed to uphold their oath to the Constitution and the people, and a recall is no longer a viable option?
Well, I have an answer for this. Let me tell you,
there are some people in politics. I will say this, and then you say that just real quick, because I will lose my train of thought and my bus of thought and any thought that is carrying any real vehicle that is carrying a
your
thought.
Crazy train.
I think what's her name, Marjorie Taylor Greene, just Congress individual.
Okay.
This individual in political office has recently proposed a bill that if they want to continue funding Ukraine, then they shall conscript. We will fund it, but you will conscript the Ukrainian army. If the politicians who vote to give more money to Ukraine, more of the taxpayers' dollar that they do not want to pay for so that we can continue to keep the money inside the United States instead of funding these proxy wars around the world, then you vote for it, go join the fucking Ukrainian army. It's in the bill.
That's dude. Lit.
Yeah, lit as fuck. As far as I'm concerned.
That's fire.
Exactly how it should be. So,
right, like you want a war, go fight in it.
Yeah, those are things we can do. Yeah, you want a war? Go fucking fight the war.
Go fight the war.
Yeah. If you've got a pretty much unanimous decision, the war in Ukraine so far, as Americans are concerned, is not supported because we are funding it. So if there is a majority of human beings in the country that we live in who pay the taxes, which fund a war we do not want, based on decisions we are not making, why the fuck is nothing changing? Why do we have representatives in office who are making decisions, drawing out of this piggy bank, and I dare not call it a Federal Reserve. It is a reserve of our funds. It is a piggy bank of which you are taking money from us to do things with it that we are not approving. I do believe I'm going to stop there and let you, because I've been talking for a while, and let you voice your opinion on the question that was asked. And if you want me to read it again, I can.
No worries. First off, I want to, what is the quote? Young men die in old men wars, or in old man's war, or something like that.
Yeah. Of course.
Wars started by old men, something like that. Yep. Anyways, I have an answer to your question. And unfortunately, it is a 2-part answer to your question. First, when can you, and is it allowed? Well, technically, yes, it is allowed if you have read the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, which states that if a government were to become destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to abolish and reinstitute new government from its foundations. So there's your answer to that. But here's the second part. Unfortunately, in the situation that we are in, that is currently based on the laws that they've put into place and the people just following orders and doing their job. That is a major roadblock and hindrance that you would face if you gathered your homies and went to do that. Back in the day, back in France, they lined up the aristocrats at the guillotine because the people were starving and they were eating cake. Nowadays, they have a huge police force that would step in, probably.
Yeah.
So while it is technically your right based on the Constitution as well as the Declaration of Independence, it is currently illegal, unfortunately. So we have to fight, unfortunately, the political battle, even though there is no political solution.
Oh, are you saying that the government has uniquely put in terrorist clauses into place for anybody that is actually willing to fight for their fundamental rights to freedom?
So
convenient.
If you tried to organize
A militia.
in any way, a militia, a group of individuals, the majority of the United States who is unhappy with the federal government and who wants to reinstitute new government based on the fundamental beliefs that we founded this country on, you would then be deemed by a 3-letter agency a domestic terrorist and a violent extremist, and then would be struck down with prejudice.
Right. So that we are not living in a society that is of archaic heritage, I guess I could say.
We're not Philistines.
Right. We should most definitely use our power to vote.
Right.
But once that process has been compromised, which it has, then what is the next evolution, right? Does it mean you go marching down the road with your guns? No,
not
necessarily, right? So to answer the question, because this was a good one, it was kind of the second part.
Can I put this in really quick?
Go ahead.
I just want to state that not only this question, but all of us in the 2A Pro community, as well as us here, we want a peaceful solution.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's make that clear first.
There's nothing I would rather, there's nothing worse than any loss of human life. Like, right, I do not want a loss of human life. And I think people are coming to understand that Trump, guys like Trump, love him or hate him, they're not pro-Israel, they're not pro-Palestine, they are pro-people not getting killed over ideals. Genuinely.
Crazy.
Like that is really his fault. If you really dig into what Trump would want, he doesn't want anybody dying over any of this bullshit. That's really that's at the core of what they want. So the question is posed: can the Second Amendment be utilized to fight back without having to actually fire a shot? That is, in fact, I wouldn't say it's used to fight back so much as it is it's the kind of nuclear hair trigger, right? It's the finger on the nuclear button, right? It's our finger on the nuclear button that keeps the government at bay. They understand that they can push so far, but there is a line that cannot be crossed. Now, they cross the line and they do it very methodically and they do it very slowly to where we don't fucking notice it.
Never underestimate your opponent.
Right. And it's all happening right now. But the goal of the Second Amendment is absolutely the more of us that exercise our Second Amendment rights, that purchase firearms, that train, that are responsible.
There are more ants than grasshoppers.
Right. There are more ants than grasshoppers. That whole thing right there is that is essentially how you exercise your Second Amendment rights. You train, you stay prepared, you're ready if, in fact, the government forcibly attempts to do anything. Now, with that, go ahead.
There's a big shift that needs to happen, and it's you need to uphold your Second Amendment responsibility to your fullest extent, as so labeled by the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Remember, that is the law. But the biggest shift that needs to happen is those in law enforcement agencies who need to uphold their oath to the Constitution and not enforce unjust laws.
Right.
That is the biggest shift that needs to happen.
Now, an action item. So here's the action item. And if we had a bigger platform and more people listening, then maybe one day we could all band together and actually get this done. But, and this is 100% completely legal, right? And it goes to this part of the question that what could I do to use the second to defend from a tyrannical government, first part, and then, for example, when California continually imposes taxes, restricts rights, and makes laws forcing people and businesses to comply with or pay for things they did not want and did not ask for. How do you fight back with that? Everybody, all at once, at the same fucking time.
Just stop.
Stop paying your taxes. Gun registration policy going into place in California where every single gun has to be registered, which is one thing that's on the docket. You just don't.
Maybe become a gunsmith or something like that.
No, it's just you don't.
Yeah, don't.
Just don't.
Yeah.
Be like,
every
I'm
gun
sorry,
shop, how about you stop?
That is breaking the fucking law. You can't make me do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to. And if our taxes, the money that we pay, is not going to the things that we approve they go to, and they are continually putting our country further and further in debt and pushing us second and third position into world power, then stop.
Well,
then stop paying your fucking taxes.
It's
you know what I mean? But it's not going to work if one person does it, because then that one guy is going to get thrown in jail. Effectively, if the entire country said, I am going to bring this to a screeching halt, you don't get any more money.
Well, what we need the fucking Texas farmers who stood up against the federal government. You remember that? The Texas cattle farmers?
Yeah.
Who had a fucking standoff. I think it was the FBI.
Yeah.
One of them. Doesn't matter. It was the government. Where they stood off with the government and they were like, no, fuck you, we're not doing this. At gunpoint, mind you.
Yeah.
More of a standoff than the fucking border.
Oh, yeah.
But
the border crisis.
But here's the deal. That's what we need. If every gun shop in America, in America, especially California, was like, yeah, we're not doing the 10-day no more.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
No, you buy your gun, you walk out with it.
Right.
You pass your background check, you pass whatever is morally right.
Yep.
Then you can walk out with your fucking gun.
Yeah.
And then three-letter agency comes and says, hey, we're shutting you down. They go, no. This is within my Second Amendment right. Fuck off.
Right. So that leads into a really good part of the conversation, which is now, what is the Second Amendment for? The Second Amendment is for you standing up for the rights that you have that are baked into the Constitution. And the Second Amendment is there to protect them. Meaning, if your rights are being violated and you decide no, and I'm talking about every shop. If every shop out there says, I'm not remitting state sales tax in California because of what you're doing, and you're putting the money where I don't agree where it should go, so you don't get your sales tax. In fact, I'm not even going to collect it. I'm not going to collect it and hold it. I'm just not collecting it and not paying it. Things like that. Guess what the government would do? Of course, the next natural evolution is to do one of two things. You either change policy in the government to conform with what the people want, or you forcibly come to try to make people do it. And how do you forcibly do it? Obviously with military, with police, with guns. And that is where the Second Amendment comes into play. That if you actively say, no, I'm not going to do this, and they forcibly try to make you do it, that is when the Second Amendment
comes into play.
That,
the right of the people.
That for me is, it never starts with, I'm going to take a gun and go to your place of business and make you do the thing. Don't ever do that. Don't ever think that is not the route that any of us take here. And I hope I make that abundantly clear.
It is not an offensive posture.
It is collectively defensive. We stand together, and hopefully there's a leader, there is a Messiah one day within our community that will come out and say, let's all get together. Let's all do this all at the same time. And when they try to come forcibly make us stop, we then say, don't do that because we are armed and you will not be able to forcibly make us do anything. It is a defensive posture. It will always be a defensive posture to protect our God-given rights, our natural rights.
I think we do have a leader, to be honest with you. I think that person is here.
Where?
It's Lily Tang Williams.
Lily Tang Williams enters the chat.
Dude, the reason that
will you play her?
I will
play her right now.
My name is Lily Tang Williams, and welcome to my live free or die state. Actually, I am a Chinese immigrant who survived communism. And under Mao, 40 million people were starving to death after he sold communism to them. And 20 million people died, murdered during his Cultural Revolution. So my question to you, David, is that can you guarantee me, a gun owner tonight, our government in the US, in DC, will never become a tyrannical government? Can you guarantee that to me?
There's no way I can ever guarantee that any government will not be tyrannical.
Well, then the debate on gun control is over, because I will never give up my guns. Never. And you should go to China to see how gun control works for dictatorship of CCP.
The reason I want to segue with that is because it destroys the argument completely. If one of the largest advocates for gun control in the fucking country, David the Twink Hogg, is unable to say that the government will not go tyrannical.
Yeah. He said, I can't
guarantee that the government, anyone out there who is pro-government, can you guarantee that the government's not going to go tyrannical?
No.
There are two options. One, you lie and say that no, it won't. Or B, you tell the truth and say, I can't guarantee that.
At least
I can at least give him respect for saying the truth.
Yeah. I can respect the fact that he's saying the truth. And the government and the people within the government are preservationists. They want to stay in power. They want to stay in their positions.
Yeah.
They want to continue to get paid. And because of that, if enough of us stood up and said and did what Lily Tang Williams did all at the same time and say, you're not going to do that. You're not going to make me do X, Y, and Z with your bullshit laws that are masked in this veil of safety, public safety. I will not conform. Then they would, I can't imagine that they'd be like, all right, mobilize the military. I think what they do is be like, wow, to protect our position in the government positions that we're in, to protect my salary and to protect my own selfish interests, I will do what the people want.
Maybe you just stop paying your tax stamp on your shorty boys.
Yeah.
Maybe stop putting pistol braces on things. Just do what the fuck you're going to do, dog.
Yeah. That leads me to another, thing is everybody is getting excited about constitutional carry, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like constitutional carry has now been approved in this state. You know how many states constitutional carry is approved in?
A lot.
All 50 states. Did you know that?
Yeah.
It's approved in all 50 states.
You want to know why?
Through the art of?
The Second Amendment.
Not being a bitch.
Also that.
Yeah. So it's just, this is where, Constitution, you can constitutionally carry wherever the fuck you want to,
it's
man.
True.
Yeah.
I believe it says
Bet you didn't know that.
in the subclause of the right of the people to keep and to bear arms shall not be infringed.
And based on even the decision that the Supreme Court has made, like further validating our Second Amendment rights, yeah, man. Like if your state or your city or your county is not issuing your CCW, guess what? I'm not an attorney, but
this is also not legal advice.
And not legal advice, but you know what I'm about to say. I just dare not say it.
You have a Second Amendment is what I'm going to say.
That's all I have to say, and you see where I'm going with that. So, yeah.
All laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. All right. Okay. Did you know David Hogg said on Twitter that no right is absolute? So I would like to...
Gone Hogg and see you next Sunday.
Still on the hog train, am I right?
Yep.
That is a perfect mindset of where these type of individuals who are pushing for gun regulation or for right regulation in general are at. They do not believe a right is absolute. These are the type of people who believe that you don't have a right to water, to shelter, to happiness. They don't believe in the Constitution. These guys are fucking monsters.
You want to see one? Here's one right here, and I'm going to play for you. We will play for you while we talk about this. I want to cut in different clips from the commissioner the commissioner of the Supreme Court of Washington.
Oh, God.
This guy.
Okay, so
wait till you see this FUD.
Personal side note, I'm a gun enthusiast. I own firearms. I learned to shoot when I was 9 years old. Okay. There's a species of ground squirrel in Spokane County that's on an endangered list, probably because of me. All right. I fired everything from a 22 to an AR-15 to a 1911 Argentine Army Mauser. All right. So I know guns I know a lot about guns. I've been studying them for over 50 years. Okay, it's a subject of particular interest to me. All right. So anyway,
this first little clip that you just saw, don't trust a guy that talks like this.
Let me give it some context real quick. What you saw was him talking about basically eradicating the entire population of ground squirrels. Now, can we all agree for a second that I'm not a tree hugger, but squirrels are cute and
pretty fucking cute.
Yeah.
Even ground squirrels, little fuckers.
Even those little fuckers are, they're fairly cute.
Now
Agree with me or not.
Now I get it.
But this is not why I'm upset. Why I'm upset is because this dumbass is sitting in one of the most important cases right now on the west coast of the United States.
He's sitting in an important political position in the government.
You're making law, bro.
Yeah.
And so you have the nerve while in this deposition, if you want to call it, with the attorney for both the attorney for the state and the attorney for Gator Guns, which are both plaintiff and defendant of this lawsuit, right? It's Gator Gun and then the attorney general. And he's sitting in this Zoom call, not talking about how we preserve the rights for Americans, not talking about law at all, talking about how your experience eradicating the population of a fucking ground squirrel when you're a kid with a 22 is somehow going to resonate with people who are drawing a hard line on you violating their Second Amendment rights. Where in your fucking mind do you think for a second that saying, I owned a 22 when I was a kid and my dad's got a 1911, do you think that anybody's going to be like, well, if that's the case?
His examples were, I shot a 22 all the way to a spicy 22, which is an AR-15.
Yeah. He's like, I've shot AR-15s.
And I've also shot a 1911.
And then we've got the clip and pull it in here. I've time stamped it for you. I'll pull it in here right now.
For veterans such as myself, other veterans in Washington State, the familiarity of that weapon system is also why they choose those weapons.
Okay, I got a real problem with that. I know a lot of veterans, and I understand that. I really do understand that. Okay, but if you're trained to operate an AR-15 or an M4 or an M249 or whatever, it seems to me it wouldn't be that much difficult to adapt your shooting style to a simpler weapon. Like a pump action shotgun or a revolver or something of that nature. But
look, I got friends who are vets. Well, I mean, I know plenty of veterans.
I don't believe you.
Does that? Okay. Well, that's first of all.
First off, I don't believe you.
I don't believe that
you're a liar.
Yeah. Second of all, knowing vets doesn't make you a fucking vet, right? Your dad being a vet doesn't make you a fucking vet. So don't presume to think that because somebody was a vet that you know exactly how they operate and how they think. And you brought something up at the beginning of the podcast that was pretty fucking hilarious.
So,
like right before we started rolling. Yeah.
So he just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand it. And so like that, so it doesn't matter. The arguments don't matter to him because he just doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Why would you want, he doesn't get that. All right, well, let's take this here. I used gay sex as an example, but you can use whatever you don't understand, okay? And it's not that I don't understand gay sex, just to be clear.
You understand what it is.
I understand what it is.
Yeah.
I understand that there are gay people. I understand that gay people have gay sex. That's not hard for me to grasp, right? But I personally do not want to engage in gay sex. That does not now mean that I cannot grasp it or understand the idea of it, and thus I should say
or
it does not
understand the fact
exist.
that other people
might want to do it
and enjoy it.
Right.
Okay.
Do your own shit. That's like saying, I don't like bubble gum.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't see a need for it. Thus, you don't need it either.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what took down what's his name? Ty from Duck Dynasty.
Bubblegum? Oh, no. Yeah.
Is that his name? Ty, the super old dude from Duck
like
Dynasty?
That. Yeah.
Psy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
so
made a comment about gay people.
Yeah. He said,
and they
I
canceled
don't
him.
understand how one man can look at another man's butthole and like it. And yeah.
Some old
fart
fart
we're all thinking
who
it.
hunts ducks for a living.
So here's the deal, man. Like you as a man of the law and a man who makes the law,
Who's supposed to be unbiased and look at things from a stance of morality.
you don't have to understand why somebody wants it or likes it. You just have to understand what the law says.
And if it's a
Period.
fundamental right to human beings,
Yeah.
and you should stand in the government's way to obstruct that right.
And your stories.
That's your oath of goddamn office.
Your stories about your dad owning a 1911 and about you having a revolver yourself and you shooting ground squirrels to extinction when you were a child has no bearing on anybody else's fucking rights.
I'm gonna say,
and this attorney obviously said, "Hey, look, man, like I'm trained with an AR. I want to be able to carry an AR.
Right.
It's the effective platform for me. Who are you to say that I can't fucking use it?" And then he went on to say, right here, insert clip.
God, I hate you.
That's a man not part of the editing process trying to interfere in your editing process.
Yes, Your Honor, and I think that's exactly why LCMs facilitate effective self-defense as well. Let's say that Your Honor was in your home at 3 a.m. Some of these crazies who have been calling you recently about this decision are, they show up and they're armed and they're going to knock down your door. I venture to guess that the court would rather have a 30-round magazine than a 7-round magazine.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. You know what I would do? You know what I would have? Here's what I would have. Okay, if somebody went and knocked down my door, I'd have an M1911A1 like my dad had from World War II, because it's got a nice big round thing, and it'll or a 12-gauge shotgun, which might have 4 or 5 rounds. Come on. But if you're trained to operate an AR-15 or an M4 or an M249 or whatever, it seems to me it wouldn't be that much difficult to adapt your shooting style to a simpler weapon, like a pump-action shotgun or a revolver or something of that nature. But
Well, I just need what did he say?
He says,
all I need is a shotgun.
He says, if you're competent with an AR or an M4, I'm sure you could become proficient with a more simple weapon platform.
That's what it is.
It's not your choice, bitch.
He goes, well, if you can shoot an AR, then basically what he's trying to say is,
if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
no, but it's going the other direction. What you're right.
Yeah.
But it's just going the other direction.
He's saying if you can dodge a ball, you can dodge a wrench.
If you could dodge a ball. No. Yeah. If you could dodge a ball, you can dodge a wrench is really the direction that he's taking with that, which is, hey, look, if you can shoot effectively with an AR, then you can shoot effectively with a revolver or a 1911. I'm like,
incorrect.
Cool. Your 60 something, like 1911 is even anywhere near the effective.
I would take a 1911 MA1 like my dad had, because it has the big thing, the round thing.
Got a nice big round thing.
Reminiscent of one of these other skeletons,
dude,
in our political closet.
Before you bring that up.
One of these other skeletons in our political closet that said this. Insert Biden clip here.
Buy a shotgun.
So don't trust individuals in positions of power, first off, full stop. But secondly, people in positions of power who shake when they talk. I don't care if you have Parkinson's. Get out of office. If you're not physically fit and you shake like a chihuahua,
dude,
get out.
But he didn't. The thing is like, I don't think that's not Parkinson's. Like this dude is
he doesn't have Parkinson's.
He's just nervously shaking because you could tell when people.
He's probably got too many fucking boosters.
Probably. You could tell when people are lying.
He's lying the whole time.
And when people are lying.
I don't think his dad was in World War II. He would have beaten him more.
Yeah, I don't believe it for a fucking second that dude's dad was any sort of a fucking veteran that would raise a knucklehead like that.
No.
But I don't know. Prove it.
Prove it. Fucking prove it. I think.
But these are the guys that are your personal opinion on guns is irrelevant when it comes to our constitutional right. And but it's guys like that making our fucking laws, man.
It is people like that have positions of power.
Now, is there something that segues nice into that, or can we just get into really what I want to get into, which is this chick that brought her dead? Go.
Dude.
Just go.
Okay.
Yeah, go. This is quite nice. And in fact, while they watched this at that point in time, I want to actually watch the video of it because I only read the article. Yeah. Bro.
So for the sake of monetization, I might just
blur it.
I might just put the blurred one in there.
Yeah.
Or I might just tell you to go to Twitter/X and type in Brazil dead uncle.
There is no way that anything that we said in this entire podcast is going to get monetized.
It'll get monetized.
I care less about that. I care more about our reach, like having people be able to at least watch it.
Well, when things are monetized, they reach more people.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, once that's a good point. They go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand because now this is a theory because YouTube refuses to admit it. But here's the thing: if a business can make money off of a video, they want that video to see as many people as possible so they can make the most money as possible. There are bad individuals involved in Silicon Valley, in Google, in Facebook, all these places that do not want Second Amendment related things to further. This is true. But at the end of the day, a business is a business. A business has to make money.
Not false.
Why is it that Optics Planet and different Second Amendment related organizations are allowed to put their ads on Google if Google didn't want that at all?
They don't let us do it.
Well, I've seen Springfield Armory. I've seen Optics Planet. I've seen...
No, I know. I agree.
On YouTube.
No, believe me, bro. Like, I agree that they do it, but we can't get through. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
They let some guys through, the guys with the deep pockets, the big guys. The little guys, they don't let us fucking... They don't let us fuck with that arena.
So
we can't...
That just furthers my theory that monetization and reach go hand in hand.
Yep.
But also,
this was quite the interesting video.
Dude.
I mean, what are your thoughts on that? You kind of respect that or what?
I want to know a little bit more about it. I kind of...
Is she just like pissed off that she wasn't in the will and she's like, I'm going to make this dude sign
That's what I just started thinking of. Like, maybe it is a little bit more nefarious. Like she's like, I'm going to fucking get his money.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like he didn't have a will and she was his caretaker and now she knows the money's going to be gone and right? Because the state does fucked up shit and I'm sure Brazil's state does fucked up shit.
That's true. That's a good point. She's like, I better get this money before the state takes it.
Right. She's like, fuck, how am I going to do this? Yeah. Maybe. We don't know. All I know is that shit's whack, dude. Yep. His head just going.
I know. I'm like, did you think you were going to get away with that? Like, did you not test that out at your house before you brought him into a bank? Like, okay, here's the plan. I'm going to bring him up here. I'm going to hold his hand. He's going to sign a thing. Did you run a test, like a trial, before you wheeled him in to the bank?
Well, like, unfortunately for that poor situation, that lady, she obviously isn't working with the highest IQ.
Clearly. Yeah.
You're not a smart individual. And I have no shame saying that. Like, you're not smart if you think that you can fool the bank teller with a dead human being. You think you're going full weekend. You didn't even put sunglasses on him.
I know. You got to get sunglasses on him.
You got to put the sunglasses on him and have your friend behind with fucking the sticks.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, lady.
Yeah, invest in some sort of apparatus that at least moves his left arm around or something.
Yeah.
You can control it from behind him. Yeah, like that was weak.
That was weak.
Yeah.
It was a weak performance.
Weak performance.
3 out of 10.
Could have been way better thought out. Way better executed. Call Tacticon next time, and we'll set something up with our engineering department. You know,
we'll have Anthony's.
Join the 2A Pro course so you can talk to our entire team and build something out with our engineering department. Fuck, dude.
We'll set up a CAD program so he signs his name.
Yeah. It's just this
bunch of brushless motors to keep down the noise.
Oh God, bad dude.
I also.
I do want to.
No, I refuse. Okay. What are you gonna say?
I have nothing to say then.
No, say it.
I've got nothing to say. Oh, I do have I wanted to go back to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yes.
Okay. Just real quick, because I wanted to read to you just the small snippet. I just thought this was so good. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she has introduced an amendment to a foreign aid bill to require members of Congress who vote in favor of providing aid to Ukraine to join the country's military. This is a formal bill. And I know I already talked about this, but I wanted to read the formal report
Right.
coming out of Newsweek. So you guys, I just actually had the reel because I was kind of fumbling around with it earlier, but I thought that was fucking fantastic. It's like
Fan-fucking-tastic.
yeah, you want to do that? Join the fucking military. Yes, we'll pay for it, but you're gonna go fight.
You're gonna go.
Yeah, and
And
then while you're gone, we'll put some real politicians who actually support the American people in there in your place.
let's kind of do a little wrap up on this.
Okay.
Here's a Discord question, and I feel it's important. And let's face it together, hand in hand,
Muy importante.
foreskin in foreskin.
Nice.
Jake Dines.
Jake Dines? Me?
Yes.
Me?
Yes.
Nice.
Jake Dines. Do you get stressed out / depressed points where you want to drink again? If so, how do you deal with that? I don't have a wife or children, so I'm pretty alone in this. I have family, but it's not really the same. Any advice is appreciated.
Oh, that is a well thought out question. Well, so that I don't drink, I yell at my wife and I beat my children.
Easy as
And
that.
if you don't have a wife or children,
Just go get a single mother.
yes, with a couple of kids, emotionally berate her and whoop their ass. And you, my friend, will never drink again too. Okay. All right. This is not legal advice, and I am not an attorney. Okay, fuck it. Where was I? So I will tell you
Spouse abuse.
I will tell you something that makes me want to drink. Do I ever feel like that? Yes. When I read the hate mail from the guy who gave me whiskey, made me want to drink his entire bottle of whiskey. But I have an outlet, and it's you lovely people listening to us that allows me to fire back. No, I genuinely come across points in my life where if we're talking about alcohol alone, I do often feel like, man, that looks good. That's a frothy brew. That would be nice to drink just that one. But as the old saying goes, one is too many and 1,000 is not enough. Now it's
It's a good quote.
So it's about changing your perspective, if I may. When I see, let's say there is a food truck who is serving beer and I'm standing there watching the guy in front of me get his sandwich and his beer. At first glance, I see a frothy brew that would be delicious on this hot day. But on second glance, I think about it like this. Let me order that glass of divorce. Let me order that glass of prison time. That glass of I'm going to get my fucking teeth knocked out because of the way I behave when I drink. Let me order that glass of despairing children standing on the firing line of my fucking behavior when I put alcohol inside my body, right? That's what that glass represents to me. That's what alcohol represents to me. And if you look at it like it is poison, if you do indeed have a problem with it, not everybody, a lot of people can go out there and drink. And they drink with impunity. And they drink and they have a good time. That is not the case for me. I am just, when it comes to alcohol, I am different and I cannot consume or ingest it. It changes my behavior. I'm a fucking Jekyll and Hyde. So, and not always. Sometimes I can do it and have a great time. Most of the time, I can do it and have a great time. It is the times that I don't that become dangerous, not just for me, but the people around me. And if you are looking to get sober and you don't have a wife and children, I commend you, man. I really do. And I'm kind of tearing up saying this, and it really does make me emotional because, man, I wish I had that. And God, it's fucking hit me in the feels right now. I wish I had that mentality before I married my wife and my kids, dude. I fucked so many fucking things up. I've done, my behavior has not been the best. And, you know, unfortunately, the people who we are closest with have to endure that. They have to see that. They have to worry about us. And it is not just your own body that is paying the price. It is not just your own health that is paying the price and your occupation that is paying the price. It is the people around you, those who are closest in your relationships, that genuinely are affected. And for anybody who has a problem with alcohol, I say to you this: it is probably not a problem for you. It is a solution for you. It is a way to make these things go away, to make the fucking pain stop. It is a way for you to get out of feeling the way that you're fucking feeling. And the only way that I have found a way out of that feeling is replacing the bottle with something else. And for me, that's helping other people. That's being able to be of service to the people under my employment here at Tacticon. It is to be of service to my family. It is to be of service to society in general through the Second Amendment work that we're doing. And that is genuinely what helps keep me sober. So if you find the thing that will allow you to help other people and turn the noise off, that will replace the bottle, because as soon as you take the bottle away, if you're anything like me, you get worse, not better. You have to replace it with something. That is my recommendation. That removal of your solution has to be replaced with another solution, a healthier, more effective, more impactful solution. That's all I got on that, man.
I got a couple of things I want to add to that. One on the back end there, it's finding what fills your cup, right? You're replacing, because now I personally am not a alcoholic. I'm not an addict, but all my brothers are. So I've dealt with this my entire life. And the thing that I've noticed growing up with this and watching them, they're always searching for something to make them feel better, to fill their void, whatever it may be, whether it's selfishness, whether it's a loss, whether it's inadequacy they feel within themselves, whether it's whatever it may be.
And to further your point, I'll say this quickly. Selfishness is at the core of all of that.
Go ahead. Because you want to feel better.
Right.
You want the pain to stop. You want to feel good.
Right.
And that is the way that you think it's going to happen.
Right.
So you're trying to fill that cup, and when you empty the liquor, now you have an empty cup.
Right.
So there's two choices. Find something healthy that will fill it, or fill it back up with liquor. I wanted to touch on how you said there are a lot of people who can drink responsibly. I would say there's a very few amount of people that can drink responsibly.
Fair enough.
I think there are a lot of people who drink excessively that have not come to terms with their own alcoholism. It's just not to the point that you might have been, or my brothers might have been, right? It's not to that point yet, but they're destroying their lives. They're destroying their health. They're destroying so many different things. Their relationships. They're throwing away their time in their life.
Right.
Because they would rather go out and get drunk. Now, whether that means blacked out and legitimately destroying their relationships, or just going out every other night or every weekend and spending it at the bar or spending it in the bottle because that's the way they feel happy. You're destroying yourself at that point. You're destroying your own soul.
It's always, and this is cliche, but it is always empty. The bottom of the bottle is always empty.
Yeah.
And the metaphor there is so true, because that is exactly all it does. It's you fill yourself up with alcohol and you just empty everything else that it was trying to mask, that it was trying to fill.
I like how you said that it always ends up back in that same spot.
Always.
Because that's what it is. If you have that problem, it's okay to have a problem. Some people have a problem with caffeine. Some people have a problem with porn. Some people have a problem with chewing their nails. If you have that problem, you have to stop it. And you can't just start.
Yeah.
Because it will end up the same every time.
And I would like to expound on by you have to stop it. What that means is, like, you don't have to stop watching porn or drinking caffeine, but if you know it's a problem and you want it stopped, nobody can stop it for you. I think what you're trying to say is you are the one that has to stop it.
Yes.
Nobody can take away your
You can't
opportunity.
teach someone who wants to learn.
Yeah, you can't.
Who doesn't want to learn.
You
Yeah.
can't go in there and take away the opportunity to type in whatever website.com to get your porn or whatever. Somebody can't keep you away from a coffee machine, or nobody's going to do that for you.
Right.
The government will do that for you if you drink and drive too many times and kill somebody one day, right? Like there are agencies out there that will remove you from society,
Right.
that will prevent you from ever doing it again.
Right.
But there is nobody around you that will allow you to stop. And guess what you're going to be? You're going to be a fucking alcoholic in prison.
Right.
You're going to be an alcoholic in prison with no access to alcohol and no solution to fill that cup.
Or you're sucking dick to get alcohol.
There's that too. There's that too.
One of the things that like I kind of looked at with my brothers is it's okay to be, since at the core of it is a selfishness,
Yeah.
it's okay to then live for someone else a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you live for your kids or your wife. You look at those people and you go, one of these reasons I'm not drinking is for them.
Right.
Right? It's okay to do that. Is it your mom? Is it your dog? Is it your dad? Is it your brother? Is it your kids? Do it.
Yeah.
Do what you have to do to survive.
Yeah. There is that. There is most certainly that. It is just my personal experience, not to negate what you said.
No, yeah.
But it is my personal experience that there is no human being, no person, no amount of money, no success, no thing, whether material or not, that would have stopped me from the path that I was on, except myself and the pain.
No, that's good to
Right?
know. Yeah.
Pain is the price of admission to sobriety.
Right.
If you're an alcoholic, it has to be so painful that you have one of two choices. You will either three things happen with real alcoholics. You end up dead, you end up in jail, or you end up sober. That's it. I mean, one of those three things are going to happen.
Right.
I mean, it will kill you eventually. It's undoubtedly, you will undoubtedly die from it. My aunt died at 39 years old from cirrhosis of the liver. Yeah, 39, 2 years younger than I am right now, right? Because she drank so much that, it killed her. And I was in the hospital several times with various stages of fatty liver, which was, the precursor to cirrhosis.
Right.
And, I just ulcers and the whole nine, man. And it eventually it'll kill you. But I can say with utmost honesty that, yes, it was the nudge from my family, the nudge from my wife, the encouragement to get sober is the reason why I initially wanted to get sober. But the only thing that kept me sober was my relationship with things in my life that filled the void of alcohol.
Right.
And that came with selflessness, right? It came with, there is a word for it, doing things without expecting anything in return. Where am I going with this? It's selflessness, true selflessness, but it came, God, why am I drawing a blank?
It's like giving a gift and not expecting a thank you.
It's giving a gift. So that exact thing that you were talking about that we just ran through with that guy, right? So giving things to be altruism is the word that
I thought it was altruism. It was like like in my head. I'm like,
altruism
right?
is the word that I'm looking for, and making altruistic gestures throughout your life, which is giving without expecting anything in return. That is really the fundamental key for me, for my sobriety at least, is doing those things. And I could not see that guy he can send a gift, not get a response, and send this like email back that is just totally berating, and he's clearly full of resentment.
It's fine.
And he can probably go about his life and live a normal life.
Right.
I can't do shit like that, because the second I allow resentment to creep into my life and allow that to take over my emotional well-being, if you will, I would get drunk. If I sit on those things, if I stew on them, they will compound and they will inevitably lead back to a drink. And so I can't operate like that in my life. All I can do is understand that individual did what he did. I can address it. I am allowed to not like it.
Right.
But believe me when I say that after this conversation is over today,
gone.
and Nolan, I mean, the reason why I was, a little heated in the beginning is because I didn't even see that letter or read that until right before you hit record on the podcast. And I was like, rah. And so I'm still human. I'm still going to get mad. But if I had read that a week ago, believe me, my response today in the podcast
would be
much different because I can't afford personally
to hold on to it.
To hold on to it.
Why would you?
For me at least, a drink. And so I just understand that some people behave like that, and I cannot control what the rest of the world fucking does. And once you can kind of get into the mindset as a person who may be struggling with alcoholism of the world is going to operate whether you like it or not. Things happen, period. They don't happen to you.
Oh, God, I was just saying this to my parents the other day.
Things just happen.
Yeah, they just happen.
The red light didn't happen to you. It just happened.
The light goes red.
The person cut you off in your line at the line at the grocery store. They didn't do it to you. You were a human that was there. They would have done it to anybody.
Right.
It didn't happen to you. It happened.
It just happened.
Yeah. And if you can
remove yourself from the equation,
yes.
and then you stop getting mad about shit.
And that is the epitome of the selfishness that I was talking about. Right. When you think that guy, it's just as selfish to say, I'm going to keep all of these rewards for myself and never give anything back and do it for me regardless of how it impacts anybody, as it is to say that this guy cutting me off in traffic happened to me. That's selfish. It's selfish behavior.
He knew the route I was taking. He knew where I'd be on the freeway. He knew that I was running late for work, and he cut me off.
Yeah. And that dude is taking up space in your head and not paying rent. And if you're an alcoholic, could potentially be leading to the next drink. Are you doing my thing?
Yeah.
Are you doing it because I do it? We did. Are you actually doing it? Or are you
I was actually doing it.
Are you making fun of me?
No, I was doing it, dude.
When I think we've talked about this, but this Tacticon armament logo on the desk that we're on, Nolan and I are both
fun to do.
Borderline autistic, and we trace our fingers around the logo when we think.
Next podcast, I'm going to wear my Full Metal Spectrum shirt.
Full Metal Spectrum.
I got that from Bunker Branding. Eli, he was running a campaign for Autism Awareness Month, and it was a limited run. It is Spectrum Gunship.
Yeah,
was one of them. So it was like an AC 130, and it had like different stuff on it. But you know what is it? It's Full Metal Jacket, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know
Full
the
Metal
helmet?
Jacket, yeah.
Instead of the bullets, it's crayons.
Oh, okay.
There's a little autism chest, the puzzle piece, and then there was a train on it, like a little Thomas the Train Engine.
That's cool.
And then it said "Born to Math."
And yeah, I'll finish on that positive thought because there's all this people on the other side of the aisle who genuinely don't understand what those of us in the Second Amendment do, and what not us, and by us I mean guys like Eli, there are so many humans within the Second Amendment space that are genuinely making an impact all over the country, just
all over the world.
Has even things that have nothing to do with the Second Amendment.
Raising so much money for these kids. It's amazing.
Just the firearm industry in general, raising money, raising awareness, being a part of something bigger than themselves. I mean,
it's because a lot of you guys are good fucks.
Everybody in this community, I've very rarely, it's an anomaly when we meet people who suck that genuinely are part of this constitutional mindset and preservation of freedom.
Right.
They're generally really good fucking people, including everybody listening to this podcast. And feel good about that, guys. Feel good about the fact that you're a part of something. We're not in some weird clan that, I mean, we kind of are, but we're not in some weird clan that's selfishly motivated to, no, this motivation is for the preservation of freedom for just humans in general, man.
Because we read a history book.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that we're doing.
Right.
Right? It's a good thing to be a part of.
It's good.
It is the final
Countdown.
line.
Sorry.
It's a countdown. It really is we are the last line of defense against like
full tyrannical government control,
full government tyranny, against that shit going on all over the world, including countries that they don't even talk about anymore, like Haiti.
Like, do you want to be the fucking citizen that was interviewed in Russia where they were like, I believe whatever my president believes?
Oh God.
Do you want to end up like that?
That was painful to watch.
Do you want to end up like that?
It was like,
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, that was and just so for a little context, it was right after that like mass shooting in Russia where like somebody was being interviewed and the lady was like, they were like, so what do you think happened? I think whatever my president and government believe, that's what happened. Dude, fuck that, man.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
That is no way for any human being to have to live.
NPCs, dude.
Yeah.
Dead internet, bro.
So I'm glad we were able to cut that on a positive note.
Me too. I love you. The world is beautiful.
The world is beautiful.
It really is. It's fucking great. You guys are beautiful.
And with more, with more people like you in the world, it will continue to be a better place.
Thanks to people like you, PBS Kids.
And with that,
we bid thee
a quiff.